Hello, listeners. Thank you for joining me on 21st Century Native Leaders. My name is Peter Deswood III, and I am here with Kendall Augustine. Ken owns Analytical Technologies in Farmington, New Mexico. Thanks for joining me, Kendall.
Hi, how you doing, bud?
Pretty good. I'm glad we are finally able to chit chat about your business and about what you're doing, the work you're doing. I always see you posting on Facebook about what you're doing within the Four Corners community with the solar projects and also the work-based learning program at Rocinante. So to start, let me have you talk about your tribal affiliation, clans, depending on what nation you identify as. So go ahead.
Okay, well, I am born for the Tenabitli clan. Um, my mom's clan is Nahabani, so that's I believe it's Gray Street clan. Um, I've originated from the Naizi area, so Naizi, New Mexico is basically based from the old lady Naize. So yeah, that's where we come from. We pretty much populate about 85% of the area. So um, that's kind of us. That's we've been there, we've been done that, and so yeah, that's kind of where I come from. That's my motherland.
Oh, that's awesome. I didn't realize you were from the easy area. I thought you might have been from the Shiprock area. I know there's some Augustines towards Shiprock, so maybe that's where the before we got on the show we were talking about the Augustine last name. So, talk with me a little bit about your business, how you opened it, how you saw that need to start your own business.
Okay, well, so it basically started off with I worked for a company that exploited my talent, and I come to realize that you know what, there's a lot more money coming in that's going out as far as like me being the actual guy that's making the repair work. Um, so I was like, you know what? I could do this work. Let me figure out how to do it. And guess what? 12 months later, I did it.
That's awesome. So, talk with me a little bit about the services you provide the community with your business.
So our company basically supplies the services for the natural and gas industry. They have a lot of computers that are out on the out in the boondocks, if you will. A lot of them are very solar powered. Um, so whenever lightning strikes, if it strikes really close, boom, guess what? We're in business. We're the guys that goes out there and fixes that stuff. Um, so basically, what happens when all the oil field guys that are out there, lightning strikes really close, they bring it to us because, um, well, they just basically bring it to us because it's like, oh, it's shutting down, so send it to these guys. We are part of one of three kind of ish. There's one complete company that really does what we do, and we're in competitive with them. So the third one, they're kind of limping a little bit. Oh, but they're kind of asking us for our help, so we don't know how that's going to work out.
Are they looking to joint venture with you or team up?
The way the CEO was talking to me was that yes, he wants to pretty much like kind of be a venture capitalist, as you know, take a little bit of percentage because he sees that um, him letting me go with the big mistake, and I'm here with a new company. So yeah,
Dang, that's awesome. That's kind of cool that you are a competitor of your former employer. So, talk with me a little bit about your training. I'm assuming I mean, you are in technology. You have a computer science degree, coding. Talk to me about any special training you have.
yeah. So right out of high school, I was really big into drafting, being a draftsman. I wanted to draft this, draw things up, right? So um, we had ITT come to my high school and say, "Look, we got this excellent drafting program," and they're drawing us, showing us all this cool stuff, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I want that." Well, so my entire career of high school was like drafting. So I took 4 years of drafting in high school. It was like I loved it. I just like, oh wow. So whenever ITT came down and they're like talking to me, like focused on me, like, oh, you need to do this, do this, do this. And I said, okay, well, cool. Well, let's go visit the campus. So I went down and I visited the campus with my parents, and we were walking down the hall, and I looked on the left side here, and I was like, oh my god, you saw a lot of nerds just doing this, you know, like, and they're like touching electronics here, and I was like, what is that? What is that? What is that? They're like, do you find that interesting? I said, yes, absolutely. It's like, well, let's go in there. And they went in there and like, oh, we're doing this. And it's like, oh my god, like, I want to do this. How do I get into this program? It's like, well, not that hard. Here, sign here, sign here. And next, I'm taking a 2-year program for electronics, an acceleration program, and I get finished. I come back home, and there's no job. I have to find out what the hell I'm going to do. So I basically just looked for the first job, and there was a company that was called AMEC Earth and Environmental. They needed a tech. I said, okay, well, so I joined up, and that was the first year of 8 years of awesome experience. So I learned how to design asphalt concrete, which is, asphalted concrete is basically roadway, blacktop. Whatever you see whenever you drive, that's what it is. And I got to the point where I learned how to design exactly certain parts of asphalted concrete. So it's like highways and parkways are completely different. So a lot of people don't realize that. But yeah, I spent about 10 years doing that, and it took a toll on my personal life. I was like my early 20s. I pretty much threw everything I had into that career, and yeah. Unfortunately, my marriage didn't succeed that part of my life, but I learned a lot. I learned a lot. I really did. I was very into like learning as much as I can. It's like whenever somebody says something, it's like, okay, well, okay, cool. Well, let's counter it. Let's find out, is that truthful? But what I've learned is like 80% of what I heard from the old guys, was pretty much truthful, because it's, yeah, you cannot gain that experience from school, man. You cannot gain that experience from school.
That's true. I like that. I like that 80-20 rule that you just talked about. So once you left your former employer and you started Analytical Technologies Incorporated, did you use personal capital to start the business, or did you get a business loan? Talk to me about that.
Okay, well, the way that kind of came about was actually pretty much an act of God, was because my wife actually was working for the school district, and she had accumulated a lot of money. So when I came to her, I asked her, I said, look, I've got this business idea. It's going to take me about $10,000 to get it set up and get going and going and going. And she had I think it was about $40,000 in capital. So she cashed out. She invested in me. It took me about $10,000 to get start it up, going, and just have enough capital to function. Just kind of get everything going. Um, it wow, it takes a lot, man. It really does. It takes a lot of money. Um, you have to be very business savvy. You have to be very frugal in what you do. Uh, and I pushed every, how do I say it? Every option I had, I went for. And unfortunately, the Navajo Nation was the bottom of the barrel. They hurt me more than I could do. So, but yeah. But honestly, I mean, it kind of depends on what you're gonna do. If you're gonna start like a candle wax program, I mean, $1,000, $500 can get you going. It's really different for me. For me, I needed that $10,000. Actually, I needed $15,000. Um, it just kind of depends. You have to just kind of feel it out. Um, I would highly recommend every Native American to go out there and start a business. Right now is the time. It's the time.
Nice. I like that idea. So, talk with me. You talked about the business acumen aspect of it. Did you go through the San Juan College incubator there, or how did you gain that business acumen?
Okay, so whenever I started, I had no idea how to start. I had no direction, no nothing. I pretty much had to just kind of discover it myself. So I researched and researched and researched here, and here. So whenever I decided to start my own business, it took me 1 year from the time I decided to do my business to the time I opened up doors. Um, but I also had to take in consideration my finances. Can my finances take it? And I sat down with my wife and we sat there and crunched numbers. Like, well, can we do it? Can we do it? Like, I need $10,000. We got a $20,000 boom right there. It's like, well, say I can do it. I can do it with $10,000. And she said, "Are you sure? Are you promise? You promise?" I said, "Yes, I promise." And I sit here 3 years later, and yeah, I paid her back plus more. Plus I've taken her to Vegas. You know what? I think it's just go out there and do it, man. I mean, like really think about your finances because that's key. That is definitely key because if you have bad credit, oh, you can still do it, but it's like really rough. Um, so me to you, I would say like work on your credit. At least get about 650. At least get about 650. Work on it, and then go into it. Don't just jump into just be like, oh, I want to go into business because it's rough. It's rough, man. I mean, it's heavy waters. Bam, 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 bam. You get hit left and right, and it's tough, man. It really is. It's tough.
Right, and I think what you're pointing out is those, how they always say in whenever we read about business or talk with someone that's in business, that they say 50% of businesses fail within the first 5 years. Right, that kind of goes, very parallel to what you're talking about, and I think that's what I try to highlight is, you have to have a plan in place, and that's kind of what you said. It took you a year to plan that in and put it into place. That's why I do this is so that there's other entrepreneurs out there that are afraid to do it. But you hit the nail on the head by saying just do it. You're really encouraging natives to start businesses, and I think that's the way to create wealth. Right, that's the way to do it. So talk with me about one of the biggest challenges you overcame to starting Analytical Technologies.
I think probably one of the biggest hurdles would be like the Navajo Nation, man. Like being a Native American business owner, the first thing you want to do is help your own people. I mean, we are always told, like, hey, grow up, become somebody, help your own people, right? Okay, well, I did that. I came back, and guess what I got? Was backlash. oh, you're better than us. You think you're better than us. It's like, no, it's like, no, it's not that. It's like, it's like, you have to understand. You have to keep that type of stuff, you have to just kind of push away. You really do. Because you're doing it for your people, not those people that are talking bad about you. It's like, I do it because I care for my people. For my people. It's like, you're always going to have haters. Always going to have haters. But you can make 2 or 3 people's lives better. Really? I mean, if I give them a solar generator with a cell phone or with a solar panel and a wind turbine, they never had that before. Guess what? Their life is changed 180 degrees, man. They can do whatever they want. Turn on the lights, turn on the TV. They can do like Dish or whatever. Like, it's amazing. It's like, why wouldn't you want people to have that? So that's like my main goal. So I developed a program called the Light of Hope Project, where I give away solar generators to families in need. Of course, they have to have, either a disabled family member or a child that's in need of certain whatever. So those are like the main 2 stipulations of being a part of that program. And as of right now, we've given away about 4 generators, and I have 12 sitting in my warehouse right now. And I need to get them out. I need to get them to people that need them. The winter's coming up. We're coming up to fall. I've got 12 generators. If you guys know anybody, it doesn't matter how far, as long as it's within the Navajo reservation, I can get them to it for free. I have 12. So I was like, it doesn't matter how far into the Navajo reservation, call me up. I'll get you a solar generator for free. And that's the thing that freaks me out. It's like, I say, I have all these generators. Call me up. I hear nothing, man. Cricket. Cricket. Like, dude, I have 12. I can give away. I don't know.
Yeah, tell me the requirements again before we move on.
Okay, so one of the requirements is that you have to have, 1, either a child in the household, or 2, you have to have a disabled member of the family. 3, then it kind of breaks down after that, but it's pretty much based on the kid. So if you have a child that needs electricity to do, laptop stuff and mobile working, that's why I want to do it. I want to make sure that those kids have what they need. I mean, I'm talking like deep Navajo reservation. It's like, give me a call. I got a generator waiting for you. All I have to do is go out there, do a site visit, and say, oh, yeah, this is good. Boom, you got it, man. You got it.
So you provide the solar generator, the panel, and then you also install it. Am I correct?
Yes, sir. That is absolutely correct. The company that actually supplies the generator, we are in partnership with. They're called the Nature's Generator, and they are very gung ho to give power to the American community. Yeah, and like I said, I have 12 of them right next door.
Well, I tell you what, I can contact some people, and we'll definitely work on this. I'll help 12 families on the nation get some power. So
yeah, definitely, man.
About that.
Definitely, because I need to get them out there because I know they need them. The biggest thing was like my grandfather used to always tell me, go to school, get an education, come back, give back to your community, your people, and that's what I'm doing. My grandfather was he was a very, very wise man. And yeah, so I was like, Kendall Augustine, I love you. I'm doing my best. So I mean, yeah, I keep hold to my promise, and that's what I do. I think We can actually put out solar street lights if you want. Um, we had we put forth a mobile what do you call it, like promotion type of deal where people can donate your monies, and based on those monies we've actually given 3 streetlights in the easy area. And yeah, it's all nonprofit. We donate our time, so it's like pretty much all the profits that come into us, it goes to the hardware stuff, and then ATI goes out there and donates the time to install it.
That is
Yeah,
so cool, man. I didn't realize you did that much. I mean, I saw one of your posts, and I think it was Nina Hanzad, or maybe it was Naizi chapter in that area. But I remember you putting up some solar panel with the street light. But that's awesome. I'm pretty stoked about that. So let's go back a little, take it a step back to the business aspect of it. Talk with me about incorporating your business. I know a lot of people, when they become an LLC, board of directors, shareholders. Talk with me about that process and why you decided to incorporate.
So whenever I was developing the business plan, I had to come across, the first crossroads was, okay, well, who is going to be involved in this business? Is it just going to be myself, or are you going to have some help? Of course, being a smart businessman, anybody knows that you need to take on people that you cannot do yourself. Things that you are weak at, somebody are stronger at, so you hire that person and they can take it over, right? Okay, so I came across a gentleman. I worked with him for about 2 years before he quit, and about a year. Let's see, I quit about a year after him. His name is Aaron Eldridge, and I approached him one day and I said, "Look, I have this business idea. Here's what I want to do. I want to start this company. I want to do it this way, this way, this way, this way." I just laid everything out that was in my mind. And he goes, "That's awesome." He goes, "How do we make money?" I said, "Well, we do a markup. We do a markup this way, this way, and this way." He goes, "Well, how do we know?" I said, "Well, I don't really know." I said, "But we're going to figure it out. I promise you. We'll figure it out." And he said, "Yeah, let's do it." And so I think I'm getting ready to go into one of your next questions, which is the startup capital. So the way it happened is that my wife was working for the school district, and she had a pension. She had about a $30,000 pension, and she left. And she decided that she was going to invest into my idea. So she gave me about $10,000 startup. Boom, I done it, and here's where I sit. I'm profitable. I'm in the black. uh, Good investment on her part because she gets a monthly check, and as well as all the owners. Um, I am one of many owners, so I own 60%. My business partner was 30, and then we have another partner with 10. So yeah, it's so far right now the business has been paying for itself, making us profitable at a minimal. So yeah, it's all I can say is right now, it's like if you're Native American and you have an idea, do it, man. Just jump on it because right now is the time to do it. Because the stock market, everything is so out of whack. Go out there and do it. If you want to make stickers, make stickers. If you want to make T-shirts, make T-shirts. Just go out there and do it. Sign up, get your business license, and go out there and do it and do it and do it and do it because you will definitely reap the benefits. Right now, it's the year of the Native American, man. I think if you want to be a business owner, right now, do it. Do it. Do not be afraid. Just do it. Go out there and get it done. Grind, 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 grind. It's tough.
I love your enthusiasm. And that's the thing. You're right. It is tough, and you know what? But when you have that energy, and I look at that example of Nijoni Soaps, right, downtown Farmington. She's opening up all these shops, one in Albuquerque. Like she's a teen, and she's doing it. Like she's doing what you're talking about. She's out there hustling, and she's marketing, especially with social media, right? You have a larger reach than just the local market, and that is what is amazing about it, right? Investing in yourself,
Right.
invest in your community, like you're doing. So, what strength do you feel you have that makes you able to run your business?
I think my strength is the ability to be like outgoing, to be like, hey, how's it going? How you doing? Because I mean, a lot of Native Americans, they're really conservative, so they hold back. I mean, not to say anything about the typical, oh, hey, hi, hi, you know what I mean? Um, no, it's like this day and age, it's like if you go up to anybody and say, hi, how you doing? Um, One of the best things that my father ever told me was like, if you want to be a strong man, to be on the top of everything, you got to make sure to have a good handshake. So he's like, here, shake my hand, moon. No, he would say, you need to be like more of a man, be more aggressive, be like, yeah, I can take you on if I could. And he was like teaching me, like, grab it like this, bam. And it's like, whenever you come out to a man, you look at him in the eye and reach out your hand and grasp him. And you make sure your grasp is thick and strong because that grasp shows everything about you. And it's proven right every single time. I mean, it really has. I can come up to like the city government and go up to so and so and be like, "How you doing? So and so, Kendall Augustine." And they're like, "Oh, you'll see them. You'll see them come down, and then you're in control." It's like, do not be scared. Be who you are, because if you are a business owner, a true business owner, you know what you want? You want growth. You want production. You want benefits. You want all that stuff, But whenever somebody else new comes up, you don't be scared. Oh no. Be like, how you doing? I'm so and so and so and so. You know. Oh man, I see a lot of Native Americans, and I always correct them, saying, "Look, if you want to be strong, you got to be like this. You got to be like this." Well, that's part of the white man's world. Well, you know what? Times are different. Here's how you need to be. If you want to be successful, you need to do this. Well, that's still the white man's world. So you know what? If you keep that same thought, you ain't gonna grow, because the world grows whether we grow or not. It will change. 10 years from now, it'll be completely different. But guess what? I'll still be doing business because I adapt. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it totally, it makes sense, and I think that's sometimes whenever you watch like people that talk about business, and there's a mindset that you have to have that you're not going to lose, that you're going to win, right? And I think those are some of the things I've been trying to talk with my daughter Marley about, the one when we came up to your business last week, is that you got to speak, you got to learn to talk, and you got to learn to be vocal, be confident, carry yourself, hold your head up high. And I mean, those are the same things my dad taught me too. Was you have to learn to blend in, right? Have to learn to blend in to your environment, and anywhere you go, you have to learn to do what you have to. In fact, I've had people say, "Oh, you come off cocky," and I'm like, "Well, but I know what I want, and I know what I need to do to be successful, right?" And it takes practice, like you've talked about, developing that winning attitude, and I mean, who do you listen to? What type of books do you read to get that positive vibe?
I don't think it's that. So when I was growing up, um, my parents were very strict in different aspects of my life. Of course, I wanted them to be. Now I look back on it as like you should have been a lot more strict because I wouldn't have gotten in as much trouble as I did. But um, I would think, as far as being a parent looking down on a child, I would be like do the best that I could to kind of guide them in the direction that I feel that they're into. So it's like, okay, well, what do you like? What do you like? Do you like doing this? Do you like doing this? And just kind of filling them out because whether we believe it or not, they tell us all the time what they're interested in. Um, I have a 4-year-old daughter. She's getting ready to be 5, and she calls me out on every single thing I do wrong. Because it's like, Dad, you didn't do that way the last time. Like, oh, and I'm in trouble. It's like so. And then I have a 12-year-old son that thinks he knows everything because he's like a major analytical kind of kid. So he's like sitting there like, Dad, it doesn't make sense because you're taking 12 and half over here and at 6 and you're doing this way and it's going this way. That's not long enough, Dad. You're missing it by half an inch. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I go up there and I look and say, I'm off by half an inch. You know what I mean? I mean, it's like, it's like you become older and you get set in your ways and you're like, we need to listen to our kids a lot more often because they're definitely a lot more on key on what we're doing. With my kids, I don't know. Hopefully my son will follow my footsteps and take over whenever I decide to retire. He'll become the new CEO of this and that. And my 12-year-old, I actually have one more. He is how old is he? 22, and he actually has a different direction all whatsoever. I mean, I cannot say, hey, I need you to do this, but when I have my younger son, my second son here, he's like all about it. So, oh, Dad, we need to do this. We need to drill here. I mean, I don't know. It's all nature. It really is. But you feed your kids their love. What they want to do. You feed it to them so they can grow. And you don't want any type of negativity. You sit there and if they want to do like. If they want to build like a swamp, then you gotta say, look, son, we can't do it because it's gonna take us about $1,000 to do this. And like, okay, well, I mean that's kind of how I sit, and it's like being a business owner, I have to deal with that type of stuff. And I bring my son in, and he does like schoolwork here under 20 hours, and he does this and makes $10-50 an hour. I mean, gee, Pete, do you remember when we make $10-50 an hour? That was like after what, 3 raises? Gee.
Yeah, I remember my first job was at McDonald's across from the Taco Bell, and I made $5.50 an hour. Man, now kids are making $10 an hour, and it's like, man, what I would have done with all that money?
Right?
Yep.
Yeah, I see. Like right in high school, I worked about 6 years at Red Lobster. So when Red Lobster opened here in Farmington, I worked. I started 10 months after it opened, and then I was there for like 6 years. I made my way to head cook, and got to kiss a lot of girls. I'm sorry, but no, yeah, I don't know. And then my son says, Dad, you're this, you're that. I'm like, you don't even know. Here, get this rake that up. Oh my God, it's so hot. I was like, shut up, just do it.
Right, and I think that's the thing, though. It's those experiences that make you appreciate, right? And I think,
Absolutely.
it's interesting because I have this conversation with my wife. Like sometimes they don't know, they won't know because what we went through is different because of the privilege that we have and the access to resources that we have that our daughter won't go through that. Like, for example, not that my mom and dad were poor, but like there were times when we just ate chili beans, right? Like my daughter will never know that because of the situation that we've created for her. And
Unless it's camping, right?
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
That's camping food. Ew.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
No. No, I
So
struggle with the same thing, man. It's like, oh, my 4-year-old, she is meticulous about all that stuff. Like, Dad, we need to go to McDonald's now because I'm hungry. Like, mm, you know what I mean? Like, what do you do? It's like you got this cute little girl that's right there, and she's just like, you're like, oh, geez. Well, so so my issue is that's my only girl. I have two boys, and she's my only girl, and I was always scared to have a little girl, and I know why. Because I am absolutely powerless. Um, Pete, I don't know how you do it, man. I really don't. Like these girls are just they drive me insane. How do you do it, Pete?
you know what? I have three girls, like 27, 14, no, 27, 16, and our youngest, our baby just turned 13. And it's you handle it the same way. I think you take, like you're saying, you take care of your kids and you love them. You want the best for them. You provide for them, and you provide them opportunities. Our oldest daughter, actually, she's adulting now, and she's been adulting for 3 or 4 years. But just going through with her, and she actually went to NYU for undergrad, and then like Harvard. But
Oh wow,
you create that, right? Like you're talking about, your daughter saying, "Oh, let's go to McDonald's." Like we create that for our kids. We create,
absolutely,
they're little mini us. Like they're
yeah,
mini versions of us. Even though our daughter's 27, but they talk like us, they sound like us, and they pick up all of those little hidden things that we do, right? So I mean, it's interesting because what you're explaining with your son, I did that with my dad. Like my dad had a construction company. We built stuff out on the res, Colorado. Like he had a heavy construction company, and we used to build stuff. But I picked up that entrepreneurial spirit from my dad because he was always hustling. I mean, he had jobs, like but he always had a side hustle. And even though I'm a high school principal, like I have a couple side hustles. I have a podcast. I have my consulting business, right? I just have stuff that I do to make money. And I think that's what you're talking about. You're talking about, what, this is what we need to do. This is what we were setting our kids up for. And I think that's what,
right.
right?
You get the kids involved in the business, and they learn that persona of being a business person. This is how you act when you're in business. Yeah, and they pick it up like that. Oh
Yep,
man, yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
yeah. I
Planting
don't
seeds.
I don't know how you do it, man. I mean, it's like, oh, I have one girl, man, and I knew it. It's like, oh, I always talk to my guys. The guy can't handle a girl, and guess what he gives me? He goes, "Oh, you're gonna do it, whether you like it or not. You're gonna do it." And now I'm here, so I'm like, oh, so I'm like, oh. She's like, Dad, we need to go over here. I was like, no. She goes, no, we need to go now. Like, why? Because my socks are old. And I'm like, how old? She goes, like 1,000 years old. We need to go now to get new socks. I'm like, okay, Mom, guess what? We're going to Walmart. What are you going to Walmart for? Socks? I don't know.
Dang, she's 5, huh?
Yeah, dude. She she's the queen, man. I mean, oh, my wife will not leave me alone with her because I will buy her a lot of stuff. She's like, no, I want to stay home with Dad. She's like, no, you will not. I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I'm scared of her. She's like mean and like loving and caring at the same time. And you're like, okay, let's go get you that. There you go. Are you good? Well, I'm good. I said, okay, let's get out of here. Yeah, no.
And you know what? That's it. That's why you hustle. That's why I'm always hustling too, because I have 3 girls and my wife. Right? You got to provide for them and take care, and you do what you have to make sure your babies are taken care of, and
right.
Yeah, man, that's it. That's why you're hustling so much.
That is the absolute truth. Okay, so there was a convention in Vegas during July that I could attend and be like, oh, there's a lot more going on here. So I was like, I'm gonna take the whole family. Oh, we went out there. We had a blast. I went to the convention for like maybe 15 minutes. I was like, oh, this is kind of boring. But I was hanging out with my family. I was laughing the whole time, just like, having a great time. It's like, that's what being a successful business owner can do. It's like, if you do everything right, buy the books, you can go out there and you can have fun with your family without worrying about the business back home. It's like, it's unbelievable. It's like the freedom, the amount of financial freedom that I have right now is amazing. It's like I'm not a rich man. I'm just a happy man. I can spend my time with my family. I can go home and do this, do this, do this. I can take time off and go do this and spend time with my kids. That's the biggest payoff to me, and I love it. Absolutely love it. The money, the money's fine. It'll be there. It'll come. It comes and goes. Money comes and goes. Why stick up on the money? Yeah. But
man, you're banking. That's why you're doing the donations of the generators, man. You got to offset that income, man.
Well, I mean, it's not even that, dude. I mean, it's like these people need those generators. It's like they don't know what it's like to be able to turn on a light and be like, have it on. We all take it for granted. Like, all of us do.
That's true.
We walk there, and so like if the power goes off and we go, click, click, click. Oh my God, the power's off! Well, guess what? All these Native American people out on the res, that's what they live with.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's like, but I get these donations, and I sit there and say, hey, guess what? I got a generator just for you. Why? Because I love you, and you're my people.
Absolutely.
I'm doing exactly what my grandpa said, because my grandpa told me, he goes, go out, son, get an education, come back and help the people.
Yep.
And I'm doing it.
That's
I'm
awesome.
keeping my word. Like I said, I have 12 generators. I need to give out. Actually, I have 11 because I have one that's going away. So I have 11 generators. So if anybody out there has a family that does not have any access to on-grid power and they need some type of lighting or whatever, give me a call. I'll go out there. I'll do a site visit, and if they meet our stuff, you say you're going to get a generator. I mean,
Nice.
it's that simple. All it takes is for me to go out there and see and sit there and like, okay, yep, you need a generator. That's it. After that's done, once I say yes, boom, you're getting a generator. So yeah, I am trying really, really hard to get power to my people on the res, because I know it's hard, man. I've seen it. I've been there. I've done it. I felt it. It's just really, really tough, man. I mean, it's like because there's a lot of bureaucracy that goes into it. It's like, even if you want to give something to some people, there's a lot of freaking tape, man. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's stupid. It's downright stupid. It's like, I have to jump a couple of red tapes just to give somebody something. So now I have to go directly to the chapter house just to give somebody something. But if I go to Navajo Reservation, I have to do this form, this form, this form, this form. No, I don't. I don't believe in that. I believe that if the people need it, they need it. Give it to them. We give the solar street lights as well. These lights are extremely inexpensive. I mean, we're talking like, probably $30 a light, $40 a light. And they are so bright. I mean, they're extremely bright. Yeah, man. I mean, what can I say, man? It's like, if you want to start a business, start a business. Do it. Right now is the time. I mean, this is the prime time because there's a lot of legislation that's coming up that will keep a lot of small businesses from starting up. Do it. Do it right now. How much more can I say, man? I mean, like, I'm like really happy about it. Like, woo! I've got all these generators to get out. Let's go.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have another question for you. So what advice do you have for someone that wants to start a business?
So, if you want to start a business, I would recommend going to the SBDAC or the SBDC, small business. They are amazing, absolutely amazing. Go to the Enterprise Center and talk to them. They are a how do you say it? A wealth of information. They will definitely make sure that you succeed. So in my personal experience, I've been here 3 years. I've seen a double in revenue every year. So the first year I saw the double. The second year I saw another double. So this third year we're looking at hopefully reaching $160,000 gross profit. But like I said, it's doubled every year. So we have not gone down. I guess somebody's doing something right. I guess I don't. I don't know, man. I mean, the numbers tell the story, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's true.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, we're doing okay, but on the administrative side of it, it takes a lot. So if you're gonna be the CEO or the president of the company, you have a lot of work to do. It is extremely hard, extremely stressful, but you just have to keep going and going and going and going. One of the biggest thing is whenever you do fall, it's okay because if you fail, you're not learning. Okay, so failure is key. You'll go through and fail, fall on your knee, get up, fall on your knee, get up. It's okay if you fall on your knee because you're learning. You're not failing. The only time that you fail is whenever you don't get back up. That's it. Because you're going to get hit hard. Boom, 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 boom. And it's going to hurt. It's going to suck. You're going to want to cry. You're like, ah. But you get back up, dust your knees off, and be like, let's go. If you can do that, you will be successful. The moment that you are not successful is whenever you don't get back up.
That's so true.
You sit there and you get down and you're like, I can't do it no more. I can't do it. That's when you fail. That's when you fail. But if you get back up, guess what? It's a new day, new time. Start all over. Let's get it going. Let's grind, 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 grind. Life is a grind, man. A lot of these newer people, they that are younger than us, Generation X, they don't understand that, man. They're really used to like getting things given to them. Oh, here you go, here you go, here you go. No, no. Life is it's a grind, man. I mean, it's a grind. Hey, it hurts all the time, man. I mean, what can I say? I was like, I sit there, I go on vacation, and I'm still doing work because I'm grinding, because why? Because I'm the CEO of the company. That's why, I'm sitting there doing this. Well, it's like, oh, let's go down to the strip. Oh, I said, well, give me 2 hours. Okay, I'm doing this. I mean, that's what it takes. It takes all of your time, anytime, every time. But if you love it, you're gonna succeed. Um, if you don't like that type of pressure stuff, you're probably not going to succeed, man. I mean, like maybe you should hire somebody that can handle that type of grind. I mean, there are different successes to it. It's like it's rough, man. That's all I can say. It's like being a business owner, a Native American business owner, is very, very, very hard. I did a lot of the grind work, the due diligence. From the moment I said, you know what, I'm going to start my own business, it took me 1 year from that point to open doors. And that's only after doing research, talking to people here, talking to the state, talking to this, talking to this. I mean, 12 months of doing that. That's what I did. I took my time away to make sure that I knew what I was getting into and I knew it well. So whenever it came into it, man, I was like a born natural, It's like, yeah, I can do this. Here, blah, blah, blah. You get the hang of it. You become a business owner. You get that confidence. You're like, I'm a business owner. You get that, and then it's like, all I can say is like, if you want to become a business owner, do it. Just jump into it and do it. You're gonna get pushed down. You're going to be hated on, but keep pushing. Push. And next you know, you get a good payout.
That's true. That's true. I like that. Man, good information from you. I'm glad we decided to do this episode. But hey, just really quickly, how can people contact you?
Some people can contact me. They can email me at 8technologiesinc@gmail.com, or they can call me at 566-3264.
Okay, awesome. And then, hey, we really should get together and let's try to get those generators out there. Maybe maybe write up a post and I can share it. That way, there's some people that whoever's out there, who, like you're saying, you need 11 families that need access to power, and let's get those out there and help the community. I'm definitely down to helping out to get the word out. Okay,
let's do it. Yeah,
absolutely.
Definitely, because they need to get out there. I mean, like right now, they're sitting in the warehouse right next to me, and it's like, what good is that doing? When we could have families that are having light at night, and run maybe a fan at night or something. It's like, and it's all free. That's the thing. It's like, if the family is there and they meet the criteria, it's free. You get it. We install it.
So one more question before we head out of here is, talk with me a little bit about your podcast. How can people check it out?
Okay, so we started a good friend of mine by the name of Justin Allen. I came across him by the means of video games, social, blah blah, whatever you want. We started talking about a lot of these different people that we came across. We're like, oh my gosh, can you believe what he just said? I mean, It was like insane because they were talking like different things here, left and right, like on the far left, on the far right, here and there, like really crazy stuff. But it was like live on there. Like, okay, so we had this guy that his name was Mick Lovin, right? Or no, Mick Blunted was his name. Okay, so what he would do is that he would join up while we're fighting. So whenever we're fighting in this game, you have a 14 man, right? So he would jump on and he'd be fighting and fighting and he'd be like, "Oh man, I gotta go get me a sandwich," right? And we're like, "Okay, well, McBlunt's gonna be gone for a little bit." He comes back and then he's like high as a kite. Oh man, and then Justin was like, "Dude, did you hear what he said there and there?" Something that I didn't catch. And he's like, "No." He goes, "Oh man, he's doing this, doing this, doing this." And then I start telling Justin, I said, "Justin, why don't we do a podcast on the stuff that we hear stupid people, or we do podcasts on things that people say that are stupid?" You know, it's like all this stuff is like, because he just, okay, so my co-host has a phenomenal history of characters that people are doing this and that. Dude, do you remember him doing this? Do you remember him doing this? It's just like, it's funny. It's funny because it's like, if you're a non-gamer and you sit there and listen to talk about it, you'll know exactly the type of person we're talking about. And it's like we do it all the time. And then he goes, "Dude, you know what? I went to the store the other day and they were doing vaccinations." Guess what they did? You know what I mean? I mean, like really crazy, everyday life stuff. I mean, none of it is scripted at all. It's just stuff that we see in our everyday life. So with the podcast, we tend to wait a week so we can absorb the society that we see and do this, right? And then he comes and goes, "You will not guess what I just saw." I'm like, "Let's do it, buddy. Let's make a podcast." So yeah, that's kind of how it is. I mean, we're basically like everyday life. Like, how do we see our lives as we sit as this person A, person B? You know, it's like, this is what I see. If you don't like it, that's fine. You know, it's like, this is what I see, and he does the same thing. So we kind of came up with the idea. It's like, you know what? A lot of people need to know this stuff. You know, it's like, okay, well, hey, did you hear? I heard this in the news. Here's the link. Holy jeez, oh, and then we go on and we ramble on and we kind of go at it. And well, see, Justin and I, we like to poke fun at each other too. So it's like, it's a really cool connect. Here's the kicker. I've never met him in person. I've never met him in person. He was living in Florida, Miami, Florida, and his wife got a job in Wyoming. Okay, well, she also applied for a job in Farmington, where I live. So he was like that close to me. But they ended up moving to Wyoming, and we sat there and said, "You know what, let's do a podcast." And so he's like, we talk about, right now we have about 12 hours of content. I mean,
dang, that's a lot.
It is. And I have to like go through all of it and edit all of it. So it's like, it's tough. So I don't know how you do it, Pete. I don't know how you do it. It's tough. I mean, it's like,
yeah, you know, it's pretty cool though. Like, you think about it, like, you really learn about you learn your speaking patterns.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, you learn because like whenever you come, okay, so like whenever we start the podcast, it automatically like, well, hey, welcome to this. You know, you get into that mode. You know, it's that automatic, and you stay in that mode all the way through for like an hour and a half, and then you start. You know, you stop and you start talking to your friend. He goes, "Dude, why are you talking to me like we're still on the podcast?"
That's awesome. So what is the podcast called, and where can people check it out?
So it's called the Big Homie Show. The Big Homie Show right now is being pretty much broadcast on with Spotify. There's about 5 others that I just saw today that we're getting launched. But if you pretty much Google the Big Homie Show, so the Big Homie Show, there's a big story behind how the name came about. So if you want to know that, check out the Big Homie Show.
That's awesome, man. Hey, I appreciate you taking time to share your story and your journey, and I think that's one thing that's important is, I was looking at podcasts years ago and, trying to find stuff with native content, and I didn't find anything. And that's why I was like, okay, let me just start this and put stories like yours out there to people that are thinking about starting or want to start. But you've shared some really good information and people will really like it. And, like I said, I'll definitely tag you and once I get it edited and we can get it out there. Okay, but we're all set,
Yeah,
man.
yeah, Peter, man, I appreciate what you do, man. I mean, you bring out everything that everybody needs to know. I appreciate you. Thank you very much. Thank
Yeah,
you for inviting me.
yeah, absolutely. All right, man. Hey, I'm gonna stop recording now. Okay.
Okay, sounds good.